Okay, and here we are live on the Middle Voice with the one and only Frank Bello.
What's up, Jimmy? What's going on, kid?
All good, all good. A little babbling before the interview.
If they only knew. We
If they only knew.
we
If
were
they
almost very
only
late.
knew.
We could have been very late if we just kept yapping along.
Yeah, yeah. One thing leads to the other, and the conversation is today. It's always shifting towards, COVID-19, the pandemic, and what
It's
people are doing. It's
it's
always
the
shifting
topic,
that way. I
dude.
go with
It's
my
the
parents.
topic,
That's what we talk about.
dude. It's the topic. It's life. It's life. How it's affecting us. Blah blah blah. I get it. Thank God for music, huh, Jim? Because without that, where would our outlet be? Think about it. With all this crazy stuff that life is going through, people, everybody. I'm very thankful for music because I just had my headphones on upstairs because I accidentally went to the news. What a stupid move that was because I got depressed immediately. So I shut the TV off. I went to my headphones and I went into a different world with my music. So I'm very grateful for the music thing.
But not only music, there's books.
There's books.
You could dive into books and lose yourself, get away
Coincidentally.
from the misery, and read about somebody else's misery.
Yes, yes. You can read about my pain if you want. If you want to read about my pain in my life, it's not all painful, but
No, no,
if,
no, no.
if
no,
you
no.
notice, shameless plug
Bring the
in the
book.
background.
Bring the book. Can you
I'll
grab
bring
it?
Yeah, if I could. Would you like the Richard Simmons doll too? Would you like that or?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I like that.
He always makes
How
me
much
happy.
is that worth?
My friend gave it to me. He went. My friend at NECA. He's awesome. My friend Randy. He's an awesome dude.
There it is.
This
Okay,
there
so
it is.
fathers. This is a long title here. I'm just trying to figure out what the title is.
Just so you know, I only say fathers, brothers, and sons. The rest of it's just like an added thing. So I just fathers, brothers, and sons. It's titled, and you could read the rest of it. Yeah, surviving anguish, abandonment, and anthrax. That's just the sidebar.
All right.
Yeah, this is COVID time, Jim. Right?
What? Okay, okay. And the
Yeah.
first thing I thought of, okay, Scotty and sort of two books out there, everything
Yeah.
we want to know about Anthrax. So what did you, from an Anthrax perspective? Oh, geez.
No, it's okay. The thing I had this on, no problem. It's live, baby. I had this thing on this new
Yes.
thing I just bought. I bought a statue that I put this on top of. Sorry, guys out there. I put this on this statue that just cracked in half.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all greatly live. So Scotty wrote two great books. I thought that
Yeah.
showed that pretty much told everything about Anthrax. Some great rock and roll stories, and that I wanted to go inside me and my point of view, and what I really wanted to go deep and say I have to let this stuff out. I have to get this stuff out because abandonment is a big thing in my life. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Apparently, from the letters and comments I'm getting, it's apparently a lot of people. It affects a lot of people in this world. So I've been getting a lot of nice letters and comments about the book.
And when you mean abandonment, you mean like you were abandoned as a child by your father. Is that what you mean?
Correct. I am. Yeah. It's exactly.
How,
what I
how
mean.
has that affected you today? Like the ripple effect to today?
Well, what happens, and people will understand this that have been abandoned by a parent. My dad took off when I was 10 years old. It left an emptiness in me that I was always, did I do something wrong? What is wrong with me? All that kind of stuff. It's like, and you're always searching for the father figure, all that, and you want something to give you a backbone. And you're also looking for something to make you feel better. And music, that's why I talked about this before, Jimmy. Music was my outlet to make me feel better. It's the only thing that really took that pain, that anguish, all that away, and made me feel better. And look, I was 10 years old, right? I was the oldest of a family of 5. My brother Anthony was 6 months old. So I never understood it. I could never even think that way as a dad. I have a 15-year-old boy. I can never think that way, but because I know the other side. And from the great comments and letters that I'm getting from really great people that have read the book, and it's really helping them understand. And they're also saying, look, if Frank went through this and he brushed himself off and went and did what he wanted to do, then maybe I can do it. And that means a lot to me. It really means a lot to me because I don't want anybody to feel like there's enough shit feeling in this world right now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm tired of people feeling like shit. And I thought while I'm off on this um, extended vacation here, I thought it was the right time. I was writing music, and there's only so much music you could write and play, and we've
Let's
been.
write a book.
Yes, I said. My
You know what,
co-writer
Frank?
Joel McIver. I called him and I said it's time.
You know, it's interesting. You
Yeah,
probably don't even remember this. I interviewed you a few times, but back
sure.
in Montreal in 2015, I was on the tour bus with you with my son, and you were laughing because I was there with my son, and it wasn't more laughing at me. You kind of like that father-son relationship because he was doing the camera work.
Yep, I remember. You know what? But I'll tell you what I remember this, and here's where it is because I love the bond that you guys
Yeah,
had.
yeah,
The truth of the matter is, he was holding the camera.
yeah.
You were doing it, and I thought that again, even before I started writing this book. But I had these things in my
That's what I'm
head.
getting at.
Go ahead. I'll let you talk.
That's what. No, no, no. Go.
Yeah, yeah, I'm babbling on, but I saw that because I remember this circumstance. Yeah, so I remember seeing that fondly and almost envious. I was envious of you had this beautiful thing with your son, and I looked at this, you and your son together, and there was a fitting right there that I didn't have, and I was kind of envious. I said, man, and you know what, I've always wanted to do that with my son. I said, look, I'm going to have that kind of relationship with my son. I want to be that. I want to be, because I didn't have it. So everything that I missed, I'm making up for in spades. So when I saw you do that with your son, so it was a beautiful moment. And I probably just went away from the interview and just watched that, right? Because I tend to do that, because I look at it and longingly I say, man, see, that's beautiful. I'll just call it straight out.
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough of that.
And
In
that's
my
why
opinion.
I'm the connection between that you didn't have with your father, and then you saw me, and I'm not
Yeah.
rubbing it in here. I'm just saying that the seed, you didn't start writing your book there. Then you start talking about your brother in that interview, or maybe it was off camera, I don't remember. But were you from then, and my question is this actually, from that point or around that era, were you starting to think, I'm going to put this down in a book?
These are great. That's a great question, Jimmy, because these are all mental notes that you file away. You have them. You file them away. These are the points that I wanted to touch. I mean, when Joel, my co-writer Joel McIver, and I started writing this book, I had this stuff that he just lit the fire under, and man, he would just say a line to get the stuff out of me, and stuff like that was filed away. We were just talking about that stuff was right there. It just it kept coming out, man, and it was so cathartic, but it was almost like a breath. It was a breath because it was coming out, and I can pay it forward. You understand what I mean? I can pay it
Yeah.
forward by doing this. I thought it was important for people that were like me, that had that same kind of vibe that go on. If you read the book, you understand the other stuff that went on in my life, and maybe pay it forward and then let them see. Look, yeah, you go down, you get beat down, you brush yourself off, and you move on. And maybe I got lucky with the music and stuff like that, but maybe you can make your life the way you want it to. That's the idea, is that don't make it get you down forever. You can't do that. You got to get up, and that's why people are finding this book inspiring, and I'm glad to hear that, because that's all I meant out of it. I just want to say, look, you can do this. I'm not a preacher, but this is my story. That I'm just tired of people feeling like shit, quite honestly. So
Is it weird? You get your mental notes, you put it on paper, it's a book, and you go, shit, this is my life.
Jimmy, man, when this book came out, I was scared shit, man. I was really, really scared the first week, because all of a sudden, as you just said, oh my God, it's out. It's out. I remember release day, my stomach was bothering me all day. I was like, oh, this is bad. This is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Shots, I was doing shots and stuff like that, just celebratory shots. But in real life, I was really nervous about what are people going to think. And thankfully, for the most part, I mean, we've had some great reviews, so I'm very humbled and proud of it. And the idea of it is really getting through. It's got great rock and roll stories in it. Yeah, we have the whole Pantera, Metallica, all the Slayer stuff, all that great stuff. Kiss. But more importantly for me, it's about how this, from coming from that life that was I once had, and just trying to rally around it. And look, still trying to do it, by the way. Still dealing with that. A lot of therapy, still trying to deal with loss, abandonment. It is what it is, and it's a day-to-day thing.
And then, I mean, okay, so your father abandons you at a young age. You connect with Charlie and his
Mhm.
family. Your guys become one, I guess.
Sure.
You attach yourself to the Anthrax family, we'll call it. But then your brother, and you
Yeah.
told me this again
I
back
did.
in 2015, right? And when you told me this, I was like, what? And
Yeah. And because it hits you, right? And because you don't expect, I think people, we're all human, right? This is, my story is, I wear it on my sleeve with my brother. If people that are watching this don't know the story and haven't read the book, unfortunately, March 25th, 1996, my brother Anthony was murdered in the Bronx. 3 gunshots. Some guy just took him out. It was a horrible, horrible experience, as you can imagine, for my family. But it went deeper. It went deeper with all of us, and it took me out of my game. And Jimmy, I know what you're going to say. The next part of the book is where I went dark.
mm,
After this, so after 2 weeks after, pretty much after my brother's murder, I snapped, and then again, I document this in the book. I snapped to where the point whereas I became the hunter, where I kind of lost everything. I kind of lost who I was. I just saw black. I saw black, man. It was dark. I didn't care about Anthrax. I didn't care about a family. I just had a goal, and it was about revenge. And it was bad. I was stalking and I was hunting and sitting out coffee shops in the Bronx for 2 weeks, just about 2 weeks, and it was ugly. It was ugly, and
can I ask you this? Maybe I
yeah,
didn't understand it. They never convicted the criminal. Is that
no,
it?
I have to say alleged, the alleged
Yeah, the
criminal,
alleged
right?
criminal.
The
They
alleged criminal, right?
never, but you have an idea who the alleged criminal
Of
is,
course. Well, we went
right?
to the pretrial, right?
Yeah,
And then there
yeah.
were witnesses. There was one specific witness that got. Again, this is how I describe it in the book. It's like a Scorsese movie. You go into the Bronx criminal court system, where literally in the Bronx court there's a judge. The whole thing is real. You have the alleged murderer on that side, his family and friends who are all kind of wannabes. There's a lot of wannabe guy, tough guys. And in my family, just a family. It is what it is. A lot of looks, a lot of intimidation, all that stuff. They put us in the same elevator. It was very ugly, and I don't wish it on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
Uh, Long story short, the witness came for the pretrial. We were all there for the pretrial. He said what happened. He pointed the alleged person out. Uh, the next thing we hear, a couple of weeks later, they couldn't find the witness. He was
It's a New York story, my friend.
it's a New York story. As you go, it's like you could read it, but it is what it is, and this is all real. Unfortunately, I don't want to say this, but it's all real, and it's a cold case, and I'm sorry to say that, but look, uh, things happen in life, and I believe in karma and all that stuff. So every dog has his day, right?
Well, I know about when you're talking about the intimidation from the other side. I went through that too in court. Like somebody,
Really?
yeah, somebody tried
Wow.
to steal my car, and I had to go to court for that. And they had the audacity, the guys who stole my car, to sort of give me dirty looks, like I was like they were the victims.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they were
It's
trying to
rough.
intimidate me between sort of sessions.
Yeah, I know it well.
And I think I bumped into them in a little coffee shop, like as we were taking a break, and they were like ready to like to rumble or something with me. It's like
Yeah.
the audacity, the nerve to be like that. They should
The
be
cra-
humbled.
the crazy, of course. The crazy thing about that, I mean, we went kind of through the same thing. We were in the same elevator as the people, as the other side. There was no, I mean, we had security guards. All the court guards had to follow us in. It was really ugly. I don't wish it on my worst enemy because it was just terrible. And this is all, you know, this is all like so. In the midst of the whole Anthrax thing too, we were going to go on. We were planning tours and stuff like that, but that didn't matter to me. Nothing mattered. It was just like
What album was it? What album was it? Was it?
it was 1996. What was a Stomp? I forgot whatever record
Okay,
was out in
all right,
1996.
all right,
Yeah, so it was a tough ride. And look, at the end of the day, and what pulled me out of it was sitting in that car in front of the coffee shop and holding this thing in my hand, waiting, and saying, I had this thought of my mom, and I just thought, how did I get here? What am I doing here right now? I was like, what am I doing here? I've never held a gun in my hand. I've never done this. I have my mom here, and I'm in my head, and I'm saying, imagine what happens if I do this. She loses 2 sons. She loses her son already, and me. I'm either, look, retribution. We all know the deal. Either you're going to die or you're going to go to jail. And that's not even sound like a tough guy. That's
that
just reality.
hot-blooded Italian. It's that hot. My wife's Italian. I get it. Don't worry.
It is. Yeah, it is what it is. And that's reality. And I'm not playing the tough guy. That's just what was going to happen. And it kind of pulled me out thinking about her. And then I thought about my brother, who passed. My brother Anthony, if he saw me in that position, what I was doing, he would have slapped the shit out of me.
Yeah,
he would have
said,
right. Get back home to mommy. She's not going to lose 2 kids. So, and it kind of pulled me out of it. So I went home, stuck myself in therapy immediately, and that's what I needed. And then, after a while, life came back. It was tough though. But
that's if people are interested in that story, it's a great read. Yeah, part of the book.
Thank you.
The sort of the foreword is by Gene Simmons, which I found this relationship with you and Gene over time to be fascinating. And this is before you were sort of, let's say, a celebrity in Anthrax or an artist in Anthrax, right?
Yeah.
Lick It Up.
Yeah.
You managed to squeeze into the studio as he was putting together Lick It Up. I mean, what like?
Well, those were the days. Remember, my friend Tom and I were pretty tenacious about going downtown and meeting these guys. We knew where they were for the most part. My friend Tom had an in at their management, so he had the inside word about where they were going to be. He had heard they were going to be at Right Track Studios in Manhattan on 48th Street. And Tommy and I went down there, as we did a lot, to go meet Kiss in the city. We took the bus. It was about a half an hour down. Got in front of the place. Tommy goes right to the studio. I'm so intimidated. I'm like this kid that doesn't want to do it. Tommy's the opposite. He presses the button. Hi, we're here to see Gene. Just a fan. Like he belongs there. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, yeah, we're here to see Gene. They let us in. I couldn't believe they just let us in the studio. We walk in this long hallway, 48th Street, Right Track Studios, which isn't there anymore, unfortunately, to this elevator. And I say this all in the book. It's like I'm walking in molasses. I'm slow. I said, Tommy, I can't do this. I can't. Come on. It's the longest walk in the world because I don't want Kiss to get mad at us. I didn't want that. We get in the elevator. Tommy presses the button. I'm like, oh my, I'm sweating bullets, man. I'm sweating. Oh my God, Tommy, I'm not going out. I'm not going out of the elevator. Door opens. See the desk right there of the studio. Nobody's at the desk, right? Tommy goes, of course, right out from the doors. I'm like still in the, goes, come on. Shit. All right. I walk out. There's a wall, partial wall right here. And you see a TV and you see a chair or something with somebody's feet on. The cowboy boots. Of course, we get out. We look around that wall. Who is it? None other than Mr. Gene Simmons, relaxing after a take in the studio. So he has a plate of cookies. He's watching TV, relaxing probably after a take, like people do. So Tommy and I go in there. He sees us, and I'll give you the exact expression. Looks up from his cookies. Oh. Jimmy, just like that, dude. It was like, oh my God, what are they doing here? Because we've met Gene quite a lot by this time.
Yeah,
so
bumping into him.
Oh yeah, so Gene would just say straight out, and I've said this in other interviews. He looks up, he goes, "What are you doing here?" Straight out. What are you? And I'm like, I'm fucking so scared right now. Tommy goes, "Oh, we just want to hear some new music." He goes, and Gene goes, now Gene just gave us a little speech, and he just said, "Do I come into your living room while you're working and bother you?" And he just gave us this whole like kind of thing. We shouldn't be there kind of speech. And of course, my friend Tommy comes right back with a zinger. He goes, "Yeah, you come over to my house anytime." He had this high voice. So yeah, come on over. You come over anytime. So Gene kind of understood that we were diehard fans. So he goes, "Okay, would you like to hear a song?" Dude, that was it. I couldn't believe he just said it like that. He just said it straight out. Would you like to hear? Tommy and I, we looked at each other like, what? Oh my God, this is really happening. Yeah, Gene led us into the room where he was mixing, Young and Wasted. He calls the engineer, "Hey, would you play Young and Wasted for my friends here?" We go in there. They sit us down right in front of the speakers, blasting it. It was a great song. We loved every second of it. We go outside, go back into Gene. "Oh my God, we're screaming with how much we loved it. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, Gene finishes off, okay, I've given you what you want. Now, can I get back to work now? And that was it. And so, yeah. We were all happy. We were on cloud nine, dude. We went in the elevator. I was like old manly because I just heard the new Kiss song before anybody else. We went out. We were just flying on air from then on in. So that's how great Gene Simmons is.
Did you know that Vinnie Vincent was the guitarist back then, or it was just like you didn't know who the guitarist was?
No, my friend Tom knew everything. Okay. He had the inside word to everything. So yeah, he wasn't there. It was just Gene there that day.
Yeah. And let me go one step back.
Sure.
So, as a kid, I was, loved Kiss, but I never knew what they looked like. Back in New York, did everybody knew what Kiss looked like? Like, did you know what Gene looked like?
No, and I say this in the book too. Acoy Management, Kiss's old management, was on Madison Avenue. I actually just recently went back there. I did a post on it. You probably look, for those of you guys look at some of my posts. I did a post on it on Madison Avenue where the original Acoy Management was, the building. And we would go down there. We cut out of school. Tommy would find out when they're going to have a meeting. He had an inside, like I said. So we go down there and just wait. February, January, freezing our fucking balls off outside like this. Freezing for hours on end. Waiting for these 6-foot+ guys with high heels on. Remember that. They wore those high heels. They had suits with long hair. And if there was a photographer around, in those days there were the photographers around trying to get them without makeup, these guys would wear masks or something always over their face. That's how we knew what Kiss looked like. We got to know them after a while because we saw them so often.
Yeah. What about, you talk about Rush, so, in Montreal, Rush, it's like, the band, right? And,
of course.
Did you ever, I don't remember in the book if you ever met Geddy Lee or if you ever, got to worship him.
I worship him from afar. I met as a fan when I was right after a Rush show. I think it was at the Garden. I saw them at the Garden one year. A bunch of my friends and I followed them. We needed a hotel where they were going to stay at. So we wanted to get autographs. And I met Eddie real quick. But somebody was taking, I remember this, when I met Geddy, somebody was taking, with a flash, he was taking pictures that was really bothering Geddy's eyes. So this dude behind me, so Geddy was like, can you put the flash away? So he had to rush. So the security guy grabbed him out. He signed my thing. He signed my album. But then he had to go right back in because the guy was taking so many pictures. So he just wanted to get inside. Really nice, though.
But never as a professional, right? From one professional to the...
Never. Unfortunately, no. I've met most of my heroes, but Geddy Lee, as a professional, no. And I'm a diehard, as you know. So
Yeah. I met Geddy Lee just at a book signing. No, I don't know if that counts, but
that counts.
He was doing his book. Yeah, we got a picture. Hey, Geddy. And,
that counts. He has a new pedal out that I'm going to probably buy because I'm a diehard. I have, all these things I do. So you never forget these guys.
Yeah. What about, so now, look, and feel free to, say what you want about the book. If you want to leave some parts out, for people to sort of have something to read, about the book, feel free to stop. I'm just trying to say if
I'll give you the teaser, but look, of course I want people to get the book and check it out. And look, thankfully it's doing well, so I'm happy. But I'm an open book, no pun intended. I like telling these stories because there's so much more in there, so I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah. It's Rare Bird, the publisher, correct?
Rare Bird. Yeah, you can get the book. You can get the signed copy, hard copy, at rarebirdlit.com. You can go to my website. It has everything on it if you like.
Okay,
good. TheFrankBello.com.
All right, you jump into, now I guess you're the roadie of Anthrax, right?
Right. I don't know. Roadie have to know things. I wasn't exactly good. You know what I mean?
You were the helper?
Dude, I was hanging out.
You were hanging out with Anthrax. What about the early days? Okay, I saw the whole web series. I really enjoyed it. Kind of like the early days to the present. It was really cool.
Thanks.
I've interviewed most of the guys, past or present, in Anthrax. What was it? Tell everybody what was it like before you joined. Like I remember Neil telling me that they used to rehearse 5 days a week.
Yeah.
They were like tight. Like the band was, that's why the first album, there was so much of that energy there. Maybe.
Absolutely. That's when I was the friend / crew guy, because listen, you hang out with him. I'm related to Charlie, as you know, Charlie the drummer. So I would go and just hang out, and I would just change strings, and I became the tech, the roadie, right? I didn't know shit. Quite honestly, I didn't know, but I played bass, and it became more friends. We were friends, and that's why it was an easy transition when I joined the band, because I think it's important to be friends and get to know each other. You could live on the road together and all that stuff. So When I got in the band, I actually got in the band the day the record, Fistful of Metal. I didn't play on the record, but the day the record came out, the release of the record, I remember that was the official day I got in the band. But and then we toured that record. And that's it. And I feel like I've been on tour since then.
But what was your first? I wouldn't say your first impression. What were your early impressions? Like, man, I think we could do it. When you used to watch the guys jam and you're the tech.
Yeah,
these guys are really getting their stuff together here.
Absolutely. It was a tight band to begin with. I love the tenacity. I've always loved the tenacity of Anthrax. It just go, go, go. Nothing can stop us. I love that. I still love that to this day, that exists. It's from the music. It's from where we're from, who we are. Like, what you want to call it, New York, whatever it is. It's that energy that I think we have, that drive. There's a serious drive in Anthrax to this day, I'm proud to say. And yes, I'm watching it from the side. Absolutely. You know what happens? Your brain is a sponge, so the songs sink into your brain, obviously. So I mean, I wasn't worried about the songs. So when I got the audition, my friend Tom told me, look, you better start learning the songs. I heard they were auditioning bass players. So I already knew them. So it wasn't an issue. To get into the audition, I remember auditioning. That was the scary part, because all of a sudden I'm coming from my bedroom, Frank in the Bronx in the bedroom, and all of a sudden this is real time. This is real.
But Charlie must be saying, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I put in a good word."
I think Charlie was like hands off. He's like, "Look, you can do it and see what happens. If you suck, you suck." But the bottom line is you have to prove yourself. But and thankfully, I did okay.
Were you the tech when Metallica came from their little stay in New York?
That was before me. That was even before I.
But you were the tech, right? You were the tech.
I was the tech after Metallica hung out and all that stuff, because Charlie was in the band, and then I started hanging out. So those are all great memories, though. I mean, and then believe me, in those days, we were all around Metallica, Anthrax. We were together a lot, so we played a lot together.
Dan Leiker was a friend of the band, a friend of Scott. Did you ever have that guilt, like, oh man, I'm taking his job? And...
Oh, I always had. You know what? And here's what happened, and I say this in the book, Jimmy. When the audition came up, I felt bad because I had heard that they were getting a new bass player. They were going to start auditioning bass players. I had obviously nothing to do with it. I was just a tech. So and that's when my friend Tom called me. You should start learning the songs. I said, I know them already. I said, all right, if I can get an audition, I'll get an audition. But they were going to audition other bass players. Long story short, I guess I was one of the first ones in. I went in, and it just worked. And also, thankfully, I knew the songs and all that, but it also helped that I was actually friendly. And so that part was done already also. So that actually, we
and it's important too in music.
It really is. Yeah? If you don't get along, you don't stay a band long. That's what happens. So yeah, I did have guilt, but I thought to myself, look, I love Danny. I love Danny Look. He's a great dude, still a great friend of mine. Awesome, great bass player, great songwriter, all good stuff. But I figured if they're going to audition bass players, why shouldn't I try out too? I just thought that was, you know what I mean?
Why not me?
Why not me, right? Instead of somebody else getting the gig, I know these guys already, so why wouldn't I try out? It made total sense. Of course, I felt guilt, but I was like, wait, if somebody else is going to get it, I'd rather me be getting it, This was going to happen. So
I remember when Fistful of Metal came out. I have it here on CD. I have it on an album over there. I remember when it came out, Neil's gone. And then, did you guys ever go say, okay, this is a good idea? No, wait, I'm second guessing this. Maybe this is not a good idea. I remember the momentum that was happening, at least in Montreal. I can't speak for the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. Like, there was a lot of momentum happening. And then suddenly it was a big question mark, right?
Yeah.
Was everybody kind of afraid at second guessing it? Okay.
Well, I think anytime you make a business move like that, it's scary. It's a scary move because you're on a momentum. You don't want to hurt the momentum. But things happen. That's just what happened. I love Neil. Look, Neil came to one of my bass clinics in L.A. He's a great dude. He's a sweetheart. Yeah, it just didn't work out. That's the way I look at it. That it just didn't work out. But he's a great singer. He's got his own band thing going. It's all good.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And yeah, so after that, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't, but you have to believe that you're going to keep going on. That's what matters. So
I got to say that's one of the biggest recoveries in metal music.
Yeah.
Next to Iron Maiden, I would say. That's the momentum to keep it going is not easy.
And after that, there was a time before Joey came in and auditioned for Anthrax. We were up in studio. Scott and I were talking about doing vocals. That's a true story. Scott and I were talking. He'd do the rougher side. I do the more cleaner side. and we were talking about doing, but we wanted a front man. It was important for Anthrax to have a front man. So Joey's an awesome singer. You know, we've been blessed with that stuff, with great singers.
All right, cool. Then you go out. I think was it Blacks. I'm just kind of quickly going through the chronology of this all, right? I'm not going to sit here with every single album.
No, that's all right.
You know, now you're. At what point did you say, okay, now guys, can I start like contributing musically to this band? At what point was that? At least listen to my arrangements, or you know, I know Scott's doing the lyrics, Charlie's doing a lot of the music, but I want in.
We should start jamming. On the second record, start jamming. I remember just putting parts in. You know, if Charlie would come up with a riff, I try to come up with something else there. He did something that fits it, you know? And it still continues to this day. It kind of, me, Scott, and Charlie are always doing that. And to this day, that's what happens. We write music together, melodies, and Scott writes most of the lyrics, you know?
All right. Oh, Black Sabbath. You know, I guess everybody asks you this. You're on this, I remember when this happened. You're on the sidelines. Glenn Hughes is sort of like disappearing. Ray Gillen's in. Sitting on the sidelines, you're saying, what's going on here? I mean, it wasn't that that was just a few weeks, right?
No, not even. I think it was 6 shows, dude. I think it was it. And we only did 6 shows on that tour. The most it was 6 shows. But it was great because Tony Iommi's obviously the best ever. He's the nicest person in the world. Riff master, all of the above, legend. We love him. He's always been great to Anthrax. And, you know, it was a fun thing to be on tour in the big arenas. Think about that. We came from these little clubs, and all of a sudden we're on these big arena stages. You know, it didn't do that well, that tour, but it was still you know, we went up another level for us. It was a big time little taste of what could be, you know, and it was great. And then Ray Gillen took over the vocals. We remember seeing Ray do the sound checks, and that was kind of crazy. You see, for sound checks, Ray would sing amazingly. Rest his soul. Yeah. It was amazing. It was amazing to see that. But look, that was again a little taste of what we wanted to achieve, to go into bigger places and stuff. So,
and then probably one of the biggest tragedies in metal, next to maybe Randy Rhoads' tragic end, Cliff Burton, right?
Oh yeah, man, that's tough.
I don't even think I would even understand it if that happened to me. Like, you know. It's beyond tragic, right?
Yeah, there's no words. There are no words. There are no words because, you know, think about it. We were young. We were all young back there, you know, back then. And this is just a matter of fact. Touring every day, you get used to the same people, hanging out with them every day. You're on this tour, Anthrax, Metallica, right? You're touring every day. I would watch their show every night because I always liked what Cliff was doing. I mean, I love Metallica, but I was a big fan of what Cliff was doing. He was talking with his bass, and he was innovative. And Cliff always thought outside the box as a bass player, and I love that about him. So I would a lot of the nights I stayed at the soundboard with Big Mick and just watch what he would do, and it was great. And then, you know, after the shows, there would be a catering place where you get some bus food. You know, you have some food, and then you bring some stuff to the food. You know, you sit down, hang out, maybe a drink or something, whatever. And you talk a little bit. So it'd be us, some of the Metallica guys, and I'd be sitting with Cliff and just bullshit about the show or something else. And I remember there's this little thing we had. It's just like, hey, maybe I'll see you later. Maybe I won't. And I say this in the book. The last thing I have the last vision I have of Cliff in my mind is his bus was going to go, and he was walking out the door, and I said to him, hey, Cliff, maybe I'll see you later. And he was past already. He came back in and looked outside. He comes inside the wall. He goes, yeah, maybe I will. And that's the last face. It's a crazy thing, and it still kind of haunts me, to tell you the truth. But I see it with love because, you know, it was my time with Cliff, you know.
Yeah. No, I get it. Don't worry. And I mean, I don't even know how people could recover after something like that, but I guess we all march on. We just have to keep going, right? We have no choice.
Know, a lot of credit is due to Metallica there for you know, again, brushing themselves off and having to go forward. After that, that's just tragic. It's just tragic. And just becoming the biggest band in the world, to their credit. So with the spirit of Cliff, I think the spirit of Cliff will always be with Metallica, no matter what. It'll always be. Rob's a great bass player. Jason was a great bass player. Cliff, you know, there's a spirit of Cliff in every Metallica song. There really is.
We're going to pause from the book. You know, before we started this, I did a post and I go, okay, name your top 3 Anthrax songs. And I go, wait a second, I can't name 3. Okay, 5. No, wait, I can't do 5. 10. No, I can't do 10. But, and what you realize is, what you realize is there's just, I don't know, top 50, top 100, you know, and then I would get these, and if everybody who's chatting here, there's a chat going on too. If they want to tell us what their favorite Anthrax song is, it's just off the charts. It's like, it's every era, you know, from the first album to the last album to the middle to the Bush to it goes all over the place.
Jimmy, that's why it's so hard to pick a set list. I mean, I'm grateful for these songs that we have this catalog of great songs, and I'm very, as a fan, I say that as a fan. But it's tough when everybody wants to hear their thing. You know, everybody wants to hear their song in their set list, and you try to make everybody happy, but there's only so much you can do.
Here we go. Catharsis.
Catharsis. Wow.
Where do we start? Everybody, just throw out the songs. Indian.
Wow. Indian.
Madhouse. I'm just going to read them.
Okay. It's fun. Catharsis was a curveball. Catharsis was a curveball. I like that one. Good.
Okay, here we go. Top Anthrax songs are from White Noise with John Bush. That is the only lineup I like. I mean, do you get a lot of that? Do you get a lot of that?
See, yeah, I think everybody's entitled to their opinion. I love that people have opinions, and that's great. That I'm glad you like something that we did. How about that? Thank you.
That's Queen Bodisha is saying Among the Living. That's another one. Okay, let me ask you something. Is there? I get it. Look, I get it. I get it. Joey's in the band. He wants to do he's got a lot of songs in his catalog that people love. But is there a little, sometimes you guys go, come on, let's throw in a couple of those Bush era songs.
Hey, I'm ready to play anything from any of our albums. I'll learn it I'll relearn it again. But there's just not a lot of set time. I mean, to put in. I'm willing to throw any curveball because I feel like we had 2 different bands in this career of ours. There's the Joey Belladonna era and there's the John Bush era, and I love them both. Joey is the singer of Anthrax. That's what's going on now.
Of course,
so,
yeah.
So you have to I pay respect to that. And but I it's not that I don't love those songs. I truly love those songs. Yeah.
There's just not enough time. That's what you're saying.
I wish there was. I truly do.
What about Scotty Ian? He said in an interview that, you know what, maybe, just maybe we'll do a one-off show with all 3 singers, all eras, and could that be something that would be cool?
I never say never. Why? Because life is this short, as we all know, Jim, right? So I don't say never to anything. I refuse to say never. So you know what? If that happened, I would play that show, right?
I'm gonna read you what the other. Hold on, let me just grab this here.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna read you every single top song. I think they'll have a whole list here, but I'm not gonna read everything.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I'm just gonna mix it up here a little bit.
I like it.
It's boring, the same old questions, right?
It's spontaneous. I want to hear what people think.
So tell me about when you first joined Anthrax, Frank. No.
Well, I'll start it. Well.
Okay, Jason saying, I am the law, Orlando, only. Block Lodge, right? You got Death Rider. This Christian says Death Riders. That's like old school. When's the last time you played Death Rider?
We jammed that. Last year sometime we pulled it out. I mean, that's what's fun about being in the band. You can pull something like that out.
All right, Imitation of Life.
Oh, I love that song. That's a fast song. It's fun.
And I mean, Metal Thrashing Matter. Are you still playing that in the set list, like an encore?
Not recently, but we throw it in once in a while.
You know what? Soldiers of Metal. How come I've never heard Soldiers of Metal in a while?
I like that song. See, I'm a fan. I like that song.
It reminds me of Manowar.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Because Ross the Boss probably had his hand in it back then.
Yeah, from the single. Yeah, I
Indians.
That.
Okay, that's a given, right? And there's another Death Riders, Armed and Dangerous. That's a very non-typical Anthrax song.
Yeah, we jammed that in soundcheck a couple of times, like the beginning of it, and that's fun. That's a fun song.
Be All End All.
We've done that in sets.
That's a given. That's a given.
Sets, sure.
Air, ARR, that's a given. Black Lodge, a lot of love for Black Lodge.
Yeah, I love that song too. It's fun.
Medusa? Who doesn't love Medusa?
We played that in a lot of sets.
Among the Living. I got 2 Among the Livings here. Armed and Dangerous again.
See,
Howling Furies. Like, we're getting really old school here. We're getting back to the demo era.
I'd have to relearn that. We did that. I really have to relearn that.
Are you Caught in the Mosh? Are you tired of playing that song?
No, because I don't get tired of playing these songs because I watch the reaction that it gets from the people, and that gets you pumped. So there's no, it's like playing a fresh song right there. So It's great.
I like it because that's when the whole mosh pit starts. So
Absolutely, there's
spinning
nothing like
around.
that, man. It's the best feeling in the world.
Who Cares wins.
Love
Who
that
Cares
song.
win.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Very
Is any
riffish.
other cool ones? Got the Time. That's a given. That's your
Fun.
trademark, right?
Yeah, fun
Caught in a
stuff.
mosh. A lot of that. Caught in a mosh. Belly of the Beast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fun
long
song.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did that on.
NFL.
Yeah. God.
All right, that we'll leave it on that.
It,
On that,
it
and
feels
we'll go
like
back to the book now,
it feels like there's a whole set list right there. They just put a set list together.
buddy. We just
Yeah.
defined the next set list
I'm fine. And you
right
know what?
here.
I'll
right here.
relearn some
Get
of those
Scott on the
songs.
horn. Get Charlie on the horn, and we'll work it out.
Yeah, we'll have
All
the
right.
rhythm down at least.
Here's another question I wrote down. I remember there was this Paul Di'Anno rumor that Paul Di'Anno, when you were in between singers, there's this Paul Di'Anno rumor that he was going to join the band. I don't even know how it started.
Wow, I haven't heard that one, but that's cool. I love his voice. I love Paul's voice. But I'm a big Iron Maiden fan, of course. But I haven't heard that. But cool. I could hear that. But
There was actually an Anthrax statement made after that rumor to clarify that this never happened, or
No,
this was
that's
never
why I'm saying
discussed.
I don't remember any of that at all. But I just
There's
love
too much.
Paul's voice. Yeah,
There's too much to
There's a
remember.
lot of rumors. There's a lot
Yeah.
of rumors.
All right, the big four. Who would you include into the big four? If you right
Exodus.
now, who would you include?
Exodus. Straight up. Exodus. Straight
Nobody
up.
else?
Well, there's a bunch of bands. You got Testament. You got all the other bands. Death Angel. There's a lot of great bands out there. So you can go down the line. Yeah, I'm look. This for me, the Big Four is very special because it was a celebration of this music. So I think it's for everybody. Yeah, with the four bands that played the shows, but it was a celebration of this music. That's the way I looked at it, and I think the fans came out to celebrate. And look, let's face it, Metallica didn't need to do that tour, right? They could have played those places on their own, which is so. I always say I tip my hat to Metallica for actually bringing us on tour to celebrate this music and playing these huge places.
All right, and my buddy Mike, I'm going to go back to his question here. He said, the Dave Ellefson project, when you guys toured together, what was it called?
Altitudes and Attitude.
He kept asking me over and over again, ask him if there'll ever be another album, like a second album.
I never say never, but in the meantime, your friend, I could tell them this. I've written some solo songs that are kind of like the extension about. If you like that, you'll like what I'm writing because that's what everybody's been who I've made hear. It sounds like the extension of what that was. So yeah, I'll be coming out probably next year sometime. Some new songs.
So a solo album.
So you could call it a solo. I don't know if it's an EP or a record. I have no idea, but there's a bunch of songs that I have that I've recorded with some studio dudes, studio drummer. Played other stuff my own, sang it, and yeah. So everybody I've made heard that so far. I made hear that say it sounds like an extension of the next record from that, which I like. So I'm psyched about.
All right, you're gone solo. That's good. That's a little bit of solo project, a side project.
Project.
And I guess last, Anthrax. Are we ever going to see an album in the near future?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good.
And we're psyched. Yeah, we're absolutely psyched. Believe me, if we could just imagine being in the same room together. When there's not another variant coming down, where we all have families, as you guys know, and we have to be careful. But in the new year, we've been writing, just so you guys know. So yes, that's what our plan is. Hopefully, everything's back to somewhat normal, the new normal, whatever you want to call it. We want to tour. We have a tour booked next year for Europe, and hopefully, we want to come to the U.S. and. Look, we're all biting at the bit like everybody else to work. We want to play. We have a record we're going to write and finish hopefully next year. So,
are you kind of like reluctant to start a tour out of the fear that they might cancel halfway through?
That's more the promoters. That's more the promoters being. And can you blame them? Because one person gets sick, they have to pull and they lose their shirts. So it's a very much a business thing also. So if one person goes down and you pull the tour down, that's a shitload of money, man. People lose, and not just us. Yeah. It's everybody, even the crew guys. It's a really tough situation right now.
Let me show you a book here. Hold on the screen.
Cool. Oh, you can get that too. Wow, technology. What will they think of next?
I don't know. Fathers, Brothers, and Sons, Frank Bello, Surviving Anguish, Abandonment, and Anthrax.
Yes, but you could just call it Fathers, Brothers, and Sons just to make it easier for people.
We'll call it the FBS.
Yes! Like
FBAS.
I'll get stickers made, FBS.
Fabras. Anything else you want to promote, talk about? No?
No, my website. We just redid my website, so I promised my webmaster to go to thefrankbello.com. I'm on the socials at thefrankbello, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Follow me, and we'll have some fun on that.
All right.
And this has been great, Jimmy.
Right.
I want you to be and stay healthy, so we could do this again in person one day.
Yeah. You know hopefully you come back to Montreal soon.
Oh, dude, wouldn't that be nice?
Buddy, man, there hasn't been a show here like there has been like these one-offs here and there. Like you'll see Voivod, play some area in outside of Montreal and get a couple of shows. Like Unleash the Archers as just an example. They were supposed to come into Montreal from the west coast of Canada, canceled.
Yeah, I was supposed to. What's today? Tuesday. I was supposed to go see my buddy's band, just a local pub band, a really good pub band. Tonight, they just canceled all the shows for the rest of the year. The place they play. So it's New York is going through a really crazy time, as you know, like the rest of the world. But we're getting really hit, apparently, really hard right now. So, hopefully, better times ahead, right?
Yeah, man. All right. Thanks a lot. We will talk soon.
You. Thanks for
Appreciate
having me.
All your time, buddy.
All right. You take care of yourself. Be safe.